Hello, everyone. Welcome. Oh my God, you are in for a treat, everyone. I'm Joan of Angels, and we have two Kundalini activators who are already working their Shakti magic, and I'm already excited. I can barely handle this already. So I want to welcome you all to another broadcast, Portal to Ascension and Joan of Angels. We have a fantastic group of speakers today, two speakers who are Kundalini experts and in transmissions of it, and activatresses, unbelievable transmitters of the Shakti energy. So in a minute, I am going to introduce you to them. But first of all, before we start, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what's upcoming for Portal to Ascension. So we want to share the upcoming Kundalini event that's going to be happening this weekend on Saturday, the 21st. And we have two of our great speakers on here, but we have a Kundalini activation event. The presenters are going to be talking about not only their experiences, but sharing tools and keys to help you learn how to use this energy and manage this energy to awaken your consciousness, connect with the extraterrestrials, and in general, live a happier and more fulfilled and balanced life. So this should be a very exciting event, and you can get all your questions answered about Kundalini. We have Alan is coming. We have Val Tignini. We have Anastasia Armanova. We have Larissa Stowe. We have a few other people here that I'm looking at. Neil's going to be here, and we have Dorothy Walters, who is a poet, a Kundalini poet who you will love. So the event, and Barbara Hand-Cloud is going to finish it up, and she's going to be talking about her new book, Astrology and Kundalini, which is a fantastic book as well. So guys, sign up for it. We hope to see you there, and very, very excited to be offering that to you. And also, guys, you can find me at joanofangels.com and some of the work that I do in helping people remember who they are. Good. All right. So before we bring them on, I want you all to just drop in with me. So just take a deep breath, everyone. That's right. And just let it go through your body, go through your entire body, coming out through your feet. Just to center a moment, because we have some high energy coming on. And just take another deep breath in. Mother, Father, God, we are just so grateful for the presence of these angelic beings whose life's mission is to heal, transmit, and uplift humanity in humanity's soul, and to shift consciousness with all of us as we accelerate into the ascension timeline. And so it is. All right. So we have two amazing beings here. Here we go. Welcome, Valeria. Welcome, Anastasia.
Hello, John.
I am so happy to see you both.
Hello, Valeria.
Hello, Anastasia.
No, it is wonderful to have you on. So I thought the way we'd start is a little bit with Anastasia, because she got on first anyway, so we'll have her. That's the best way. And she starts with an A, so we'll be fair. She'll give us a little bit about who you are.
Sure.
And then we'll have Valeria do the same.
Great. First of all, thank you very much, John, for having me here. And thank you, Alan Steinfeld, who introduced us and made this connection happen. I'm honored to be present and sharing what I know about Kundalini. My name is Anastasia, and I'm an ordained activatress, transmitter of divine Shakti energy. And I've been one of the first 20 facilitators of CAP, Kundalini activation process. It's the modality found by Bennett Wong, and it was a powerful transformation in my life. I started to work with this modality for people all over the world. I've traveled from India to Africa, Poland, Spain, Italy, Moscow, in the United States, in Latin America, activating hundreds of people who were ready. And I also, with my ex-partner, with my ex-husband, the guru, the spiritual teacher, traveled with him, and being in the presence of the guru, of the strong avatar, the energy of the divine, it enhanced my container to transmit this Shakti even in a bigger essence, larger essence. And now I'm back in New York, based in New York, doing these workshops, working online with Kundalini, activating people. Yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
I love it. So you've traveled around the world activating people with this energy.
Yes.
Sweet. We're going to hear more about it in a few minutes. Valeria, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I had a activation in 2010, and it was through a teacher, an activator. His name is Abdi, and I had Kundalini awakening, where all my chakras were illuminated, and I had a experience, like almost like a near-death experience, which is part of the Kundalini awakening. And then I went into this space of no mind, where I lost myself, and it was an enlightening experience. And I could go there frequently in that space if I let myself go. After that day, I had 2 years of healing every single day. There was a strong energy running through me where I wasn't able to really interact with normal day-to-day people. I wasn't able to do things that I was doing before, like I would drink alcohol or go to parties or go to bars. I wasn't able to withstand that low vibration. I had to constantly be in a meditative environment where, because I was very fragile, my electromagnetic field, my aura was super fragile, and I was just going through this purification process. By the time after 2 years, I heard a voice, a very strong voice, during this session where the man that actually activated me was in the room, and I hear a voice saying, "It's time for you to heal others now." And of course I said, "No, that's my ego. I'm not doing it." And then maybe 2 minutes later, he comes up to me and he says, "No, it's time for you to go and do what I do." And I just looked at him. I said, "Okay." I hear from what I call God, and I hear from you, so I'm going to do it. And from that day on, I just keep hearing the voice. And it's to do service, and it's I really don't have a choice. I say it all the time. This is my boss, and I don't have a choice, and I have to do the service. And I gave birth to 2 children, and now I have 4 because my partner has 2 girls, and so I have a daughter. Her name is Anastasia, and I have a son who's 6 months old, and his name is Arthur. So, and I knew Arthur was coming. So I was preparing for him for a long time, almost 8 years. So, and my partner, who's now in my life, he's amazing, and he's going through something spiritually himself and teaching me all about patience, which I never really had because I always would get this instant gratification. Even when I was a child, I would question God and say, I want to see you. If you really exist, I want to see you. I want to hear you. And this was a prayer every single night, a request. And finally, I get a voice and I hear, "I'm here." And I got so scared and I just stopped asking.
That's pretty funny. That's very powerful. Okay, very, very powerful. Mm-hmm. I love that story. And I got to sit once in a plant medicine ceremony on the big toe of God. But anything to do with God is huge. So I just loved this conversation so far. So let's back up a little bit. And when you talk about a Kundalini activation, for those who don't know, and let's just go around again. Anastasia, take a few minutes, and then Valeria. How would you describe it for you as a Kundalini activation, and what is it connected for you?
I work in a modality which is called CAP. Just recapping, CAP stands for Kundalini Activation Process. It's a very safe modality where my body as the vessel transmits the cosmic energy consciousness. And when I touch people, or it transmits through my voice, and when it goes into the people's field, electromagnetic field, their Kundalini starts to be provoked a little bit. It's not like a guarantee they're going to have a full body activation, because everyone is very individual, right? It goes from person to person. Where we are with our karma, with our previous incarnations, with our consciousness, how we are as human being, and each individual goes through their own process. Does it answer the question?
I really like that. All right, that sounds very good to me. And by the way, I want everyone listening to know that there's already an activation happening. Am I right?
Yes,
I feel,
absolutely.
I want to hear from you guys listening, but I'm feeling like there's some kind of energy that's already moving through. It hit me really hard when we came on.
I'm a deep empath, so I can tell what the audience or what the people are feeling. So, sometimes some people here, they could feel maybe their ears are burning a little bit. Maybe their left ear, they could feel vibration within their ears because we're speaking. So if you feel this vibration in your ear just going up into your mind and kind of settling your mind, maybe feeling even a little heavy in the eyelids, that's what's happening right now for people. But what Anastasia was describing is also true for me as well. So I call it source energy, Christ consciousness, Shakti, Shekinah. It's all the same.
It is. It's
that universal energy where it wants to come down and wants to activate and heal. And so some people, they're open to it, but what I believe is that their minds shut down the energy. So it's the ego. The ego shuts down the energy. If their heart is open to it, then they allow for the energy to move through their body and become healed or activated. I also believe that cold energy is an activation and the warm energy is healing. So some people first, they just feel the warm energy. So it heals their body, heals their mind, heals whatever needs to be healed. And then later they feel the cold energy, which is the activation. Or it just happens, activation, boom. And I'm sure that's what happened to you, Anastasia, because that's what happened to me. And it's karmic, as absolutely. We've done this before. We were initiated before through other priests or priestess, gurus, whatever you want to call them. Again, it's all universal. Yes. But we've done this in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So I don't consider it lucky. I just think it's like it's part of who we are. It's part of our energetic imprint. So there comes a lot of responsibility with this gift. And a lot of challenges, a lot.
And tell us about the challenges a bit then.
Personally, for me, the challenges come with relationships, a lot of the relationships, because it's not this energy can provoke and can and also antagonize. It can it also, it's a truth beater. So it always requires the truth. So if someone's lying or someone's betraying you or someone is not truthful, this energy is going to fight them. It's going to combat them, and it's going to combat you as well. So if the relationship is not true, it will just destroy it. So that's the challenge. You can't I think it's not just relationship with people, it's relationship with your job, relationship with your family, relationship with your environment. If you don't resonate with where you are anymore, where you live, it will beat you till you move out. This energy is using you as a vessel. It's saying, I'm here to use you to work, and you're just part of that equation.
I absolutely agree with Valeria. I always tell people who come to practice to receive the activation that it's not going to be all lovey-dovey, amazing, beautiful, orgasmic ecstasy experiences, because you have to be ready to let go. This energy is very strong. It will guide you as a GPS. guide you to whatever choices you make in your daily life, what food you eat, who you spend time with, what you watch, what you see, what you listen to. You're very aligned. And what happened to my relationship, I was so lucky and blessed to be able to travel and be married to a guru, to a spiritual teacher who has a massive following in ashrams. But because I was so aligned, I could not stand for some things that were not in my truth, not in my integrity. As much as I loved person, it was my greatest love of this life, yet I had to leave. It was bigger, stronger, and more powerful than me. I had to go. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So with the Kundalini, then with the activation process, which I'm getting is a huge awakening. And a funny thing, I had a chat with one of our speakers, Dorothy Walters, and she said, well, no, I said to her, well, I haven't been activated with Kundalini. She said, Joan, your consciousness is already beyond. It's not, so we can get there without Kundalini, although Kundalini I'm getting is a lot. It sounds really powerful as a mechanism for growth, for spirituality. I have a curiosity because one of you two was saying it in the videos I was watching. Can you feel like you're going crazy or having like a crisis? Like, does everyone just accept it gently? You know, how does it feel for some people?
For some people, they are so ready to pursue the frequency, but they are not even aware what might be happening, and they're so open to it, to express, because I guide people before we do the activation what might happen. And it can be so crazy for them to experience, to shake, to scream, because everything which is not resonating, they shake it off, cry it out, release powerful emotions in order to ascend, in order to elevate for the alignment.
So what does Kundalini mean? We have a question. We have actually, Denise has two great questions. Well, both of you can answer. One is, what does Kundalini mean? And the other is, can anyone be activated? So I think we can answer those together. So
Kundalini is just a term, really, but it's an energy that comes. It's like a snake-like energy that comes from within. It's rooted in the root chakra, and it becomes alive with an activation from someone else, or it could even come within through meditation, samadhi, or mantras, doing mantras. It's all vibrational. When the Kundalini meets its vibration, and all of a sudden it pops, and then it comes up through the chakras. Now, some people don't have a full-on Kundalini awakening, because a full Kundalini awakening is when it goes up, comes back down, and then comes back up again. Some people, it stops at certain chakras, the heart chakra, the solar plexus. It depends where it stops. And then some people might have issues with their spine. It's complicated. So when I've had a Kundalini awakening, I knew nothing about Kundalini. I didn't even know the word. I couldn't even say the word. It just didn't. It was a complete shock to me. And but Kundalini can mean the fire of the Holy Spirit. It's a fire energy. Absolutely, it's a fire energy. There's water energy. There is what's the other one? I'm trying to think. Not the. It's a cold energy. It's not water, but there's fire, water, and then of course there's the earth energy, and there's the air energy. Those are the elements, and that's what runs through people when they experience an activation. But Kundalini is fire, and fire will burn through all the nadis, all the chakras, and it's the most powerful activation. So of course the Kundalini is well studied in India, but they have it in Egypt, they had it in Atlantis, they had it in Lemuria, they had it before Atlantis and Lemuria. This is an ancient knowledge and wisdom of which was passed down, and luckily for India, that's why Indian culture and religions are so powerful, because they've passed down the wisdom. And others, they just stopped it because there was a period of time that it actually just stopped. Kundalini wasn't coming through anymore, and people were trying to continue to reactivate themselves by using tools like rods and different kinds of like in Egypt, they would use rods, like those rods that
Right.
they put in their
Okay.
hands. They would use what are they called? Oh gosh, I can't think of the name right now. I'm so sleep deprived. I'm sorry. I'm a 6-month-old and I'm completely sleep deprived. But they would use all kinds of tools to connect to the energy, connect to the universal energy, to bring it back down and continue to have a higher vibration.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So you can actually be activated also through using rods that will connect you to the cosmos and the portals. Anastasia, what would you say about all of this?
I would add a little bit that Kundalini is also chi, prana. It's all the same. The light that we were created by the Creator, we all have that, and the intensity depends on our ego and on our consciousness where we are. And then with people like starseeds or light workers, right? With astrology, we can track these people. I'm sure we are who are present are being a starseeds. And those people like carry special markings, special blueprints that after 2012 it was activated.
Yes.
For bringing the love, frequency, Christ consciousness, this grid all over the planet for accelerating the human healing and ascension.
Yeah, you're so right. A lot's happened since 2012. And when you're here in 2022, looking back, you can really kind of see the progression. It's like we were getting ready for the new ascension energies coming through. You know, I love how you've been bringing up how this is ancient, how you know, both of you came in, me too. We all came in to really help raise the frequency here on the planet through the work that we're doing. It's very specific. You mentioned starseeds and light workers and extraterrestrials when we were talking. I'm not sure of your experience, Anastasia. Have you had any experience with your Kundalini and this energy of connecting with other beings?
Absolutely. It happened when I actually meet Alan Steinfeld this year, 2015. A lot of synchronicities were happening after 2012. I remember I was very lonely in New York. I didn't know anyone who would get me because I was reading all this book, Law of One by Carla Ruckert, searching for like Bashar channeling, wholesale, like all this extraterrestrial knowledge from different dimensions. And in 2015, I was in this beautiful expo where it was everybody like me, all spiritual people in one place. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm not alone here in New York. They exist. And somebody somehow gave me this contact and of the astrologer who was my galactic teacher. I cannot even mention her name. She was guiding me for 5 years. She was guided through all her life, even now, by ETs, all her life on spiritual quests, spiritual assignments. And she was guiding me for 5 years. Every year she was giving me some information, a dosage that I was ready for. She was telling me there is something in my voice that will be activating human DNA and it will affect human consciousness on 5 different levels. And, you know, it's the challenge because the ego goes like, what? Me? Voice? What? Okay. Then she was saying, yes, it's in your field. People are in your field. You can be in the airport. You can be in a train. People next to you, sitting next to you, go home and change their lives. It's not you doing it consciously. It's the frequency that comes through you. It's your assignment. You knew what you're going to be doing in this world. And again, I was like, okay, okay. And then in 2019, exactly when my Kundalini was fully activated, when I was initiated to this work, She told me, my astrologer told me, be aware in June of this year, they like to take people on board, go to these special places. And I said, but I'm not going to be in the United States. I will be in Thailand with my family. And she said, it's going to work either way. And exactly when she told me, in the week of that last week of June or first week of July, I remember I saw this dream, a dream that I'm looking up, and it was a liquid light from two spaceships. And I was as soon as I looked up, I was instantly in a board ship in a white sterile place, and they were looking at me and telepathically saying, she's ready for next level, but we need to shoot her left shoulder. It's still a lot of emotional pain in her body. And interestingly, that because 2012 happened, my first activations, I was so aligned, purifying myself for 7 years on spiritual training by myself, guidance, books, retreats. And I was in purification, and I was so good in my state of consciousness. I was in Zen, and I was thinking, what pain you were talking about? I am good. Like, there is not possible. It's not resonating with. I was doing so much work on my system, and so it happened in my dream with ET connection. And a few months later, I'm meeting my future ex-partner, with whom it was happened that through these relationships, it was brought the hardship, the biggest, hardest lesson in my life that I had to go through in order for me to liberate completely from these old patterns, traumas. Everything was brought in one relationship through that partner, right? So it was Kundalini guiding me for the ascension, bringing the life lesson, testing if I'm staying connected, if I'm staying true to who I am, who I came here to be. And I passed. I am going.
So that is amazing. We all get those tests at every level. It doesn't matter how high we get, we still get a test specifically designed to knock us off, to test to see if we're like really true to that path.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the lessons ever stop.
No,
so thank you. They don't stop. They can't.
No,
they can't.
Because we're here on Earth to experience the lessons. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
We would be in light bodies.
Yes. And the lessons are so specific, as if they know exactly what would tempt us off the path. So they're really designed as our initiation, I'm sure.
Yes.
So, and Valerie, I saw you on video on YouTube talking about your connection to the extraterrestrials and starseeds. So I want to hear a little bit about your connection then, especially through the Kundalini.
I had a similar experience to Anastasia in one of my experiences, but I had experience when I was a teenager. That's when they first started to come to me, and they would show up outside my bedroom window, and they would show up, and I'd say, "Oh, what is that?" And I felt the energy, but I didn't understand that that's like such a big deal. I would just go to my parents and say, "I just saw a UFO," and they're like, "Okay, okay, good night." So I just thought it was normal, and then after my Kundalini awakening, I had an experience where I had two beings come into my bedroom, and they were in light body forms initially, and then they transformed themselves into physical form, and then they were telling me, "You are ready to be going into higher levels of consciousness." And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'm ready. I know I'm ready." So they took my hand, both of them, but they took each hand, and we went up as like our bodies were spaceships. So consciousness just lifted us up and through my bedroom, and I went into, we became like this, a form, like it turned into some sort of spaceship, and went into this place called Sirius. And I experienced Sirius there, and they gave me information all at once there, but I start to remember the information in trip form. So as I was growing here on Earth, I would remember, and I would start talking about it, and it's like, I don't even know where that information comes from, and then later they would come to me and they say, we told you that information. And so I have a strong relationship with the Syrians. I have a strong relationship with the Pleiades, in the Pleiadians. I have many different kinds of relations with all kinds of beings from like Alcyon, and all kinds of relations with the Sirius B as well, not just Sirius A, but Sirius B as well. And they tell me history, like the history of the Earth, the history when they first came here. They've told me what's to come. They talk to me about diamond consciousness, which is something that's coming or that's here now, but it's developing as we speak. The diamond consciousness, and actually Alan was very he was very prevalent. He was very prevalent in many of these actually experiences. So he was there.
That's right. I remember you talked about it. He was
Yes.
there at one of your experiences, your awakenings, right?
Oh yeah, Alan's been there when my Kundalini awakening. He's been there with experiences with ETs when, after Kundalini awakening. He's a very important being in my journey, and he's a galactic soulmate. And I'm sure Anastasia is as well, and so are you.
I feel it, from
Yeah.
the moment I started connecting with both of you, I felt like a strong connection.
Yes, we've danced in the galaxy many times.
I think so. And I'm already feeling that I'm going to need to have my own Kundalini activations, because I can feel it even as we're speaking.
Yes.
And I'm beginning to understand this flow. So by the time Saturday comes along, I'll definitely be more than ready.
Well, that's what happens.
Is that what happens?
I don't know about you, Anastasia, but for me, when I went to this place to receive this experience, first of all, I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know what Kundalini awakening was. I didn't know anything. I just knew I had to be there. So it was already a soul contract of sorts. My mind did not understand any of it, but I was there and I knew I had to be there. And actually, before my Kundalini awakening, a lot of things were like absolutely perfect. Everything that I asked for was lined up perfectly. And then I said, I am not happy. I am not happy. And my life was, if someone could write a storybook, a perfect tale of a girl growing up and becoming, everything she wanted to be, that was me. And I was still not happy. And I said, I can't understand it. And then my ex-partner, my daughter's father, wrote to me and said, you need to join this event. And I just felt a strong pull. I said, I don't know what this is. I've never attended any spiritual event ever. For me, a spiritual event was drinking cocktails at a party. It's not, it wasn't an option. It wasn't even in my field. And so when I attended, I just felt something very, like I knew, but I didn't know. I didn't know the capacity, but I knew this is something special. And I don't know what's going to happen here, but this is something. So, Joan, because you saying this, I feel like this is, you're talking to your soul. It's a soul thing. This is
right.
You're communicating, it's with our souls and with your own and source.
Isn't that amazing? We're actually communicating with each other, with everyone in the audience, and with our past life, future lives, all the ETs around. We're in constant communication here. So what I'm hearing, and for everyone here, is that with the Kundalini energy, you then can have an awareness of being one with all.
Yes.
And an expanded consciousness. And I love that you saw the extraterrestrials in physical form. I don't want you to think I forgot that. I did hear you say you actually saw them physically. Is that right?
Yes. And they've continued to come, but not in physical form, in light form, because they had introduced themselves in physical form. So I wouldn't be scared. I think they know who they're dealing with. So they're intelligent, super intelligent beings. It's like they're us, evolved by 10,000 years, and they're our big brothers and big sisters. And actually, looking at Anastasia, she reminds me of them.
Really? Okay. So what did they look like?
Yeah. So
give us a little description for all of us.
Sure. Yeah. The Syrians were they were very tall, very strong chin line, very strong nose, very like pointy nose, and lips were very like narrow, but beautiful eyes. They were grayish blue, very sharp eyebrows, and the hair. It was one of the men was short and one of them was longer. They all, they have their own personalities, I guess, in that sense. They're not like, but they were wearing uniform for me. So almost like high collar, folded in here, and then they had a stone in here, it's probably from Sirius, because they're very big on crystals there. The Sirius is all crystals. It's Crystal City. And it was in grayish blues and whites, and very handsome men. And the women also very strong lines in the chin, and their lips are more pouty, very beautiful ladies. And they had short hair, they had long hair, they had blonde hair, they had dark hair like mine, and no aging. There's no aging there. So everybody was unique, but very attractive, healthy. Nobody was overweight. Very muscular, very very godlike. Like the gods, how they portray the gods. They're muscular and slender and strong. That's how they look. The women were also very strong, not warrior-like, but super fit, super fit. And they also wore clothing, but it wasn't like a fashion competition. For them, the clothing is like a cloak of it describes what they're learning, or what they're where they're at, if they have a family. It's all very descriptive, and some of the clothing has like light language on it, so you can actually read what it's what they represent, who they are. Some of the women also had crowns, mainly for their third eye, so they would have a stone on their third eye, so that they would be connecting to something, maybe to keep them grounded also, because they're so high consciousness all the time, and it keeps them grounded. And then some of the men also wore crowns, a lot of cuffs, gold, all gold, pure gold, cufflinks, and these things we've actually brought down. This is why there's a lot of that. I'm surprised. The crown is a symbol of enlightenment, and it's the crown chakra. So this is one of the things that they told me, and that the people that wore it here, perhaps they were enlightened at some point, but as the lineage, the bloodline was watered down, they became more egoic, and that crown is not, they're not worthy of the crown anymore.
Just so you know, I see a crown for both of you. I see this blue sapphire right here, and right here it's magnificent, and I see you both wearing something like this. It's very outer worldly Atlantean feeling, but oh my God, I want a whole line of those. I just feel like I want one, and I don't know if I ever want to take it off from this energy. It's very ancient, and I feel this a lot. Anything else you want to add about this, Anastasia, about our conversation that we're talking about here, the ETs?
Sure. Yeah. In 2010, I remember, I'm originally from Russia, from a very small town. In my first computer, I got myself. Of course, I studied that subject in school, in university, but I never got to have my own personal computer. Imagine when I was 21, I came to the United States and I bought myself a computer. And I remember I was going on YouTube, and it's a very intense experience where I was looking at the Commander Ashtar videos and learning about how they devoted to help human to ascend. I was bawling and crying from overwhelmed feeling of joy and feeling home, that connection, because all my life I remember when I was a small kid, I was sitting on a window looking at the stars, and I knew I'm not from here. I'm definitely not from this small town where everybody knows each other. My awareness were a little different. I always knew that. And so I think with this activation of this video, watching Ashtar, it was first activation, my consciousness was expanding. And then just recently, around 1 year ago, I did this quantum healing hypnosis technique by Dolores Cannon. Somebody guided me through this regress, and I instantly went to my past life where I was an ET, a tall, blonde, going, like they were guiding us to go to the room, whatever your subconsciousness shows you, right? And I'm opening the door, and I see by the side eye, right, the side view, my family, the consuls, in a table. And I know it's my parents, my family, but I'm not going there. I'm going to the balcony, and I'm opening the balcony, and I see the galaxies. Like stars, but not only stars, the galaxies. Like, it was breathtaking view. And so it was reminder for me, because there was a question in this guidance of the hypnosis. It was a question. Now go back to your room where you were present in this lifetime and feel the connection to people around you. And it was people who are very dear to me. It was love of my life. And there was no connection as a human. It was no relatedness. And I understood exactly. It was like waking up. Hey, you are going through this path, doing this activation, whatever you're going through, it's your initiation, but do not get stuck in this idea, in this story. Remember who you are. It was very helping me for the healing process to remember. And later, after I saw the Ashtar's video on YouTube, I saw the spaceship in Queens in New York. And it's interesting that I saw it with the mother of my ex-partner. It was in 2010. And it was like normal thing. We look at it. It's huge with no sound. Huge, just like 200 meters away, 200 meters above the building with a spotlight on the building. You just see that in the movies. But it would be like helicopter with like very intense sound. There was no sound. It was a huge spaceship with no sound, and we were just fascinated. Do you see it? I see it. Oh, wow, cool. And we kind of like played with it, but then with the channeling, with the channeling session with Rayuk, he told me it was your family. They were just saying hello and putting some seeds in your consciousness that was sprouting later.
Wow.
So, beautiful hello.
What a beautiful experience. As you're talking, your aura is getting more pink and huger and larger, and I feel the light coming through you for sure. Do you guys think that the Kundalini then, because you work with this energy so closely, then it makes it easier for you to have contact then?
Yes, you become a like a light bulb on the earth. Like
it's a
spark of light.
direct line to the gut.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter where you are. I can call them anywhere in the world. I do retreats, and when I when I'm wherever I am in the world, France, Italy, Japan, Costa Rica, it doesn't matter. I could be anywhere in the world, and if I connect to them, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because it doesn't matter exactly where you are. There's time and space, and there is
doesn't matter.
That's amazing. So this kind of energy, working with raising our frequencies through Kundalini, then can connect us with our guides, our angels, our extraterrestrial family, and the higher interdimensional beings. So I want you to know something. I knew that it raised your consciousness, but until I saw your video that you were talking about the star seeds, I went, oh my God, wait, what have I really been missing? And so that's really powerful.
And this is all dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
It's all one. You know, we're talking about, but we're going down into the dimensions. So this dimension, you know, we're experiencing 3D to 5D, and then once we step out of that dimension, it you know, past the 12th dimension, we're all one. So I mean, it's like, I call it the accordion. You know, we're playing the accordion, and we're experiencing this reality, but in reality, this is just it's just an imaginative thing that consciousness is creating for us, which is wonderful. It's one. That's why the ancient Indians, they call it Maya. We're playing. They call it the ETs. They call this the Las Vegas of the universe.
Oh, they must be having a great time right now watching us down here. That's all I could say. I was going to do a painting of that, like of their comments on humanity right now, because it's a comedy. That's all I can say.
But it's a beautiful comedy.
Well, it is.
Even whatever we're going through, all the trauma, all the challenges, all the hardships, it's still beautiful.
It is. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. So Greg gave us an interesting comment. I want to comment on this. He had a Kundalini awakening, and he said that the Christians call it something that is demonic. So if you have anything you would say, no, I think that's ridiculous, but you want to answer that?
I can answer that very easily.
Well, you both get to answer it. I want to hear.
And I love that he's, you know, challenging this, because this is actually the fire of the Holy Spirit. This is why they start to speak in tongues during the Pentecost. This is why, that's what happens. The Shakti, everyone was activating with their Kundalini. And that's what Yeshua would do. He would activate Kundalini. Mary Magdalene, she was an initiate of this energy. And she was passing down the Kundalini to females, to women. And this energy is not foreign to Christians, but what happened was the church made it foreign because they don't want you to wake up. Right. So they made it demonic. Because if you woke up, you would realize that everything that they're teaching, everything that they teach, not what Yeshua taught, but what they teach, is false and separates us and makes us feel down and doesn't lift us into the higher vibration. Although there are churches that still carry that Holy Spirit. It doesn't matter how bad these people are. It doesn't matter what they do. Christ consciousness will sit in that throne and say, no, I'm going to give this energy to people no matter what. So that's my answer.
I got it. And Anastasia, what do you have to say?
We have Valeria, yes, definitely. I absolutely agree with the Christian aspect of that, looking at that. But visually, you know, when I work with people, and some people are going through intense shaking, right? Because this energy is so intense with the high frequency that our nervous system can respond. It's too much to process, and it can start shaking. That's visually, it can look like, oh my God, this is exorcism. And I'm saying, yes, it's the divine exorcism, shaking everything what is not serving you any longer.
Yes.
It's necessary to get for the alignment. I get a lot of comments like that on my YouTube channel. It's demonic.
So do I.
People who are scared, they're still not ready to go because they have a lot of fear to interfere with Kundalini. They will not be able to handle it properly.
That's right.
Right.
And that's the ego. And that's the ego blocks the energy.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just go into their heart and just say, what do I have to lose here? If you believe that strongly in demons versus the divine, then you must be doing something wrong. You have to believe in the divine more than the demons.
Well, or you're probably not going to be on this channel with us because we're the channel of the divine.
That's right.
And that's where we look to in all the things that we do. Very interesting. So now I'm curious, and I think everyone else is. So how do you each specifically work with people to activate them? Or is it possible to get a taste of an activation?
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest that.
Oh, good. All right. Well, who wants to start?
Anastasia, I'll give you the...
All right.
Anastasia, yes,
all right.
go.
I just can do, because the frequency transmits through my voice, I can do a brief meditation so people get to feel a taste of the activation.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah, just keep your awareness and attention inwards. Forget about our conversation. Forget about who you are. Forget about your name. And drop your consciousness into your heart center. Connect to your breath, and with every inhale, breathe in divine, brilliant light. Feel this light flowing through your crown chakra, activating your skull, going down your throat, expanding your lungs, going down your shoulders, your arms, and your hands, down your solar plexus, around your internal organs, down your hips, your legs, and your feet. Feel this divine brilliant light purifying your whole system, your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your astral, ethereal, and celestial bodies. Feel how this divine brilliant light aligning you with who you truly and really are. Feel this attunement of your instrument with your small self and your higher self. And feel what you feel, staying within your sensations, hearing what you hear, and seeing what you see in words. And with every exhale, intentionally breathe out everything that is not serving you any longer. Let it all out from your system. Let go of ideas, circumstances, limiting beliefs, patterns, biases, anything and everything which is not for your highest good any longer. Let go, breathe out, release, and transmute it into light. Feeling what you feel, hearing what you hear, seeing what you see in words. As your conscious mind is still listening to my voice, your subconscious mind is already being activated and activating your whole system. Stay open and receptive. Stay open and curious. Stay open to surrender and receive the activation. Noticing the air flowing through your nose, in and out. If your mind starts wandering, just come back to your breathing. knowing that you are being activated. And you will receive exactly what you need to receive at this moment in a perfect amount, just for you need it. Know that you are protected. Trust your higher self. Trust your guidance. Staying within your heart. Through your daily life, coming back to your heart. Consciously, intentionally, staying within your heart. And slowly, slowly, whenever you're ready, start bringing yourself back to your physical body, back to your consciousness, being aware of the temperature in the room, being aware of my voice, slowly, slowly guiding you to come back to a present moment, to here and now. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for allowing me to activate.
Yes. That is beautiful. Very, very beautiful, Anastasia. I think everyone is feeling it too. I'm definitely feeling people are feeling what we're doing and receiving it in a big way. So just thinking, should we have you do your activation next? Or Anastasia, you want to tell us a little how you work with people? Or should we just, let's do Valeria's, she's shaking her head. She's following the energy. Do you want to do another activation for us, how you do it? And then we'll kind of.
You want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or it doesn't have to be an activation. Tell us, I want to know, everyone wants to know how you work with people, because that's going to be our last question. How do we work with you? What do you do when you work with people? And what does the energy of all of that mean? Does that mean?
Okay. There's different ways I work with people. The way I started was through group sessions, where people would be in one room, and I use the energy. Either I go around touching them, placing my hand on their forehead or in their heart, or a hug, maybe just blow on their body, and then they would lay down, and energy starts going through them, shaking and speaking in light language, and going through all kinds of things that they need to go through. I also do one-on-one sessions, but I've put a pause on that because I'm taking time for my son. I've also done retreats, but I've also put a pause on that because of many different reasons. First of all, because of COVID, and again, my son. And I do lots of group language, group wording. I use Telegram. I have a group called the Pure Life Consciousness on Telegram, and you can find it through my website on valsecrets.com. But for me, the service is done on a daily basis. And again, like what Anastasia was mentioning, it's either just sitting next to somebody, dealing with anyone I'm dealing with, it's service. I'm constantly working with them, and I know I'm taking this time right now to kind of settle and be grounded, so that I can do some more work later. But I have to rest, and I have to stay close to my son and my daughter and my partner, and develop the relationships with, of course, my little guy, because my relationship with my daughter is established, and of course my partner. So that's what I'm doing now. But
just so you know, that feels like a very beautiful time. Having been a mother myself, I can say that that's an exquisite time.
Yes.
And it's really hard to leave a 6-month-old. At least as a mother, my heart would rip apart. And
I couldn't.
And I put off a whole speaking career because I couldn't leave my young children. I just couldn't.
Yeah. I'm writing a book right now, so that's taking its time. But I am writing a book, and yeah. But I would love to do something actually, because it's been so long for me. So I'm going to do a little bit of something, and I'm just going to let it come through. I don't know what it is, but it's going to happen. So
and you're coming to our event on Saturday.
Yes.
And we're getting you out of your cloistering motherhood.
Yes, my little nest.
The word nest
flying out for a little bit, and then I'll come back.
Perfect. You're in New York City, right?
Yeah, I'm not in New York City anymore. I'm in New Jersey now.
Okay. Yeah, do you do in person? Do you do in person things too?
I'm going to start doing in June. I'm going to start doing them in New Jersey.
Oh, good. All right.
Just group sessions.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love your energy. And you're going to be on our event. Do you know what you're going to be talking about?
Yes. Well, actually, I'm going to be talking about how Kundalini energy is galactic energy, and I'm going to explain, the esoteric wisdom and how it's connected to this galactic place, and how it's been brought down, and all these things. We've talked about a little bit here, but we haven't really gone into the depths. So.
You're going to give us in depth, and I love that, because until I saw that video, I wasn't really aware of the connection of Kundalini activation and the extraterrestrials, and how it was such an ancient energy. And of course, it was given to us by the ETs. So I so appreciate that. I can't wait to hear your presentation, by the way. So I loved your last presentation that you did a few months ago. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Anastasia, tell us a little bit about then. You're in New York City, right?
I am, yes. I hold big group classes. I call them massive activations. In New York City, I also work online and in person. Sometimes I play music. It's for people to be distracted with their consciousness, and then they go into a deeper meditative state, and then I can touch, or I can spontaneously start singing along the song, because the voice is activated, and it just uses me, because I completely surrender and give everything of me to use for the people, whoever is present in the transmission. And it's fascinating, I was always so curious how those channelers feel, how they consciously feel when they in that state of consciousness. It's altered, and you feel like you are partly, maybe 5% of the consciousness is still there. It just transmits raw Shakti energy, and the result is very transformative.
I feel transformed too, for sure.
What's interesting, Joan, is that this energy can run through anyone, though. It can run through anyone that has very egoic, even someone that's considered evil. It can run through anyone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a special kind of person.
You don't have to be
enlightened.
You don't have to be a saint. You don't have to be, you don't have to be a good person. It can run through anyone. You don't have a choice.
It will push you to become a good person.
I was going to ask you that. Can it force you to become a good person then, if it runs through an evil person? Anastasia, yes. What were you saying?
I would say yes, because it's in that state of consciousness when they being activated, they forget about identities. They forget about the noise, the conscious conditioning, and they get to be so in tune with their conscience, with their true self, and they remember who they are. And when they come back, I always say I love to play with the frequency, because the way the human body responds. But my most favorite part, when I hold these group sessions, and I guide people to come back when they open their eyes, this depth and this awareness that they come to the class and they're all over this monkey mind, this consciousness, right? And then after the activation, they just come back and they have the deepest insights and realizations. It's like what I was doing, what I was thinking in my life.
Yeah. It's almost like a plant medicine ceremony.
Yes.
In a certain way that you expand your consciousness and you can bring back insights about who you are personally and in the galactic scheme of things. Sounds very
it's a healing process. And that's why people keep it's not just like a one-shot thing. It could be a one-shot thing, but if you want to continue to heal and your ego will always be there. So if you want to just make the ego smaller, then you continue to come to these sessions. You continue to work on yourself. But the ego will always be there because you see, I call myself Valeria, and I just can't help it. Otherwise, I would just not say I have a name. I still put makeup on my face. I still say I have a son. There's still duality, but when we go into this space, when we do these sessions, the duality disappears and we become one with everyone. And that's the trick there, where the ego kind of disappears. But these people that do have energy, they could become potentially dangerous. And now you have to work on the ego. It's a purification of self and purification of the ego constantly.
Interesting. Yes, because it could go one of two ways. And it's all about our intentions and if we want to be enlightened, that we set that intention for that. Mm-hmm. So Valeria, someone did say that I should not forget that you might be doing a little activation. So are you in the mood to do a little?
Yeah, let's do it. It'll be short and sweet.
Okay.
Rastagria Prakotistus Shasha Grostigura Pras Rastagria Tutos Maraya Tra Rastagatira Parosh Gros Harastagria Orokoti Taraya Parosta Kataras Rayana Maniano Rastagria Paruscoti Rastagabai Raparosh Grostigura Parota Daria Varias Noshrias Grias, Raya Rakopatas, Trasti Staria Tratatash, Manastara Tria Forosagria. Manahia Rakodos, Tria Prai, Rostokotos Creeks. Nales Kriapras, Krasiras, Raparak Diactros, Larapria Prodoshis. Nayamayam, Nayanamayam,
Well, I felt like your ancestors. I felt your ancestors in the background as if you were just being brought here to bring that energy forward. Very beautiful. Now, we have been blessed people to have these two amazing Kundalini activators here, activatresses. complicated, tricky word. And I'm still not quite in my body. Okay, guys. So, guys, I want you all to, first of all, tell us where to find you, Anastasia. Tell them where they can find you, besides Saturday, your website, and how they're going to find you.
I have a social media Instagram. I'm active with stories, with my workshops, upcoming retreats. It is Anastasia/Armanova. And there is a link tree beside my puritysensation.com, beside my website. There is a link tree on my Instagram that shows all the events, upcoming events.
I love your Instagram, by the way. They're very, very beautiful. You can find her on Instagram, great account. And make sure you find her. And guys, you need to come to the event Saturday. Okay, Valeria, tell us how to find you.
You can find me on valsecrets.com, and all the information in regards to social media is there. I'm very picky who I allow in. So it's a closed network. So I allow for people, I feel people's energy first, and then I allow them in. I know. Perfect. It's very VIP.
It's very good. You know what? You're protecting the energy.
Yes.
You're keeping it safe. You're making a safe container, because this is very delicate when you connect with spirit.
It is.
And so it's good for us to know that both of you are protected, protective, and you create that container.
We are protected, but we also have to be proactive about it.
Yes, that's right. And also creating containers for other people when they're working with us too. So let's show the event again, Tina. Can you show the event? Perfect. So guys, it's this Saturday. You can hear more from Valeria and Anastasia, plus some of our other experts, and you can meet the famous Alan Steinfeld if you haven't met him already.
You'll love him. You'll love Alan. He's the best.
He is pivotal.
And I know Kai too. Kai Shanti is great. And I also know Surya. So they're both activated.
They both are. And Dorothy, I hope she's with us too. She's a Kundalini poet. And apparently she was activated way before most of you guys, and before it was even popular. And she used to talk about how lonely she felt being the only Kundalini awakened person around her. So guys, you can sign up for it. We still have some room for you. And I'm suspecting that if you love the activations you're getting today, that when you hear their stories and you dive into how they awakened, and then you can, as they're speaking, I hope you know that they're already working with us. The energy is just so pure. So maybe a last word from each of you. Anastasia, any last words to everyone?
I wish everyone remember to stay in the heart. Go from mind, just devoting 10 minutes per day. It doesn't take much. Before sleep or in the morning, just priming yourself to detoxify from emotions, thoughts, and come back to your pure essence, who you are. And start every day your interaction from the heart.
I love it. And so it is. And
right,
and so it is. Valeria.
It's hard to that's all really that matters. But what I believe is that if you work on your heart, then your nervous system will start to relax, and a healthy nervous system will bring you closer to the truth, will bring you closer to the divine, will bring you closer to what is needed for yourself, and of course health. Right now we're all very nervous about our health, so we work on our nervous system by meditating and bringing ourselves into our hearts, and that will help you in all different areas of your life.
I love it. Stress. Good. Well, guys, this has been another episode with Portal to Ascension, Joan of Angels, and all of our amazing guests that come on and help us lift up our consciousness. Make sure you check out both Anastasia and Valeria. And
thank you, Anastasia.
Thank you, Valeria.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Grateful. So grateful for all of you. As well. So, guys, we will see you all at the event and next time, and have a blessed and miraculous week, everyone. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.